Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Monday, the 19th of July, 2021, and we're publishing our regular morning update where we look at the latest news headlines, economic reports, and precious metal prices. Today we can see that the US dollar is up again. Oil prices have fallen, and so have gold and silver prices. So let's take a look. Well, good morning this bright Monday morning, 19th of July, 09:14 a.m. GMT +1. I'm going to rattle through this relatively quickly today, simply because over the weekend we provided our weekly update, and so most of the information really pertaining to today was included there, other than a few things that may have happened over the weekend. But frankly, it's been a moderately quiet weekend, in fairness. That said, it's blisteringly hot in the study this morning, and if I put the aircon on, it affects the microphone. So, I shall go through this as quickly as I can. Headlines: Bloomberg, UK set for big reopening as cases soar most in the world. Yes, we have now more infections in the UK than any other part of the world in terms of rising numbers. We've been relatively flexible, particularly in England. And of course, today we have what we call the unmasking, where it's up to people whether they wear masks or not, and whether they keep social distancing or not. And the fear is that the cases will rise even further. Time will tell. Oil retreats on OPEC Plus deal to ramp up output, threat from Delta. And this is important, and we'll see in a moment that the oil prices have fallen. A deal has at last been struck to increase output. That is really important. And frankly, we're pleased with that because we could see oil going up to $80 because that was the target that certain members of OPEC Plus were craving for, in spite of what they might have said publicly. Stocks retreat, treasuries climb on growth caution. We'll have a quick look at that. Of course, American markets are not open yet, but the futures markets are. Stocks and US equity futures fell Monday, that's this morning, amid concern elevated inflation and a resurgence of the pandemic will weigh on global demand. Oil dropped after an OPEC Plus supply deal. The rally in treasuries continued, sending 10-year yields further below 1.3%. The dollar strengthened against major peers amid cautious sentiment. A global rally in equities has paused as investors consider whether inflation pressures will sap the economic rebound from the pandemic. Now, there is a debate going on. The majority of people are of the view that we're not only having inflation, but we could be moving towards hyperinflation, which is why there is the expectation that bond buying will reduce, i.e. taper, sooner rather than later, and interest rates will go up. Not because the Fed wants them to go up, but because the markets will force them up. The other side of the coin is we could go through a similar process to that which we did after the 2008 crisis, where similar concerns were raised and we then moved into a period of deflation. We'll cover that in a separate video on another day. BBC News. Basically, update on jabs for children. It's all coronavirus at the moment. Everything is still centered around that subject. This is interesting. We'll look at this on the American one. Spyware used to target activists, leak suggests. And in the US, we can see Israeli tech firm NSO denies media reports that its software has been sold to authoritarian regimes. Indian Parliament opens amid spyware row. And we can broadly see it is really COVID or tragedy related, such as the news today. And this is always the dilemma that we have when you follow the news. It's quite depressing for most of the time. Looking at businesses, these tend to be more UK. Green King closes 33 pubs amid pandemic. And this is to do with staff shortages. Orders cancelled after Ocado, home shopping channel, robot fire. And do you know, nothing particularly exciting going on. Well, let's look at the financials then. For some reason, if anyone knows and can put a suggestion, we've got this huge block at the top of this page. It only happens on the oil page. And it says advertisement and it's a blank screen. And we cannot get this to go up. So any tech wizards out there, let us know what's happening, please. Dollar index up 0.2 at 92.88. We suspect we could see 93. Yeah, we really could. Energy, oil prices down 90 cents. Stocks, of course, this chart is showing the American market, but this is based on Friday's close. And we've just mentioned that the futures are down. But looking at UK and Europe, broadly down. Whereas in the past week or so, from a day-to-day basis, they've been up 0.25% or 0.5% or down 0.25% or down 0.5%. This is firmly down above 1.25%, moving towards 1.5%. Asia Pacific, similar situation. Moving on to US economic data, we can see that we have the NAHB Home Builders Index today and building permits and housing starts tomorrow with nothing scheduled for Wednesday. We covered this in our weekly update, which we published. 2 versions over the weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, but essentially the same information. If you haven't listened to either of those, then we've placed links below. Nothing really comes into their own in terms of information data or economic data until Thursday and Friday. So, what's happened to gold? We've got a rising dollar, and therefore we have lower gold prices. Down $8 at $1,804. Near its day low, but then of course markets haven't been open that long. In fact, what was interesting, it dipped initially and then rose and stayed moderately up for a few hours, and that has now taken a bit of a fall. Unfortunately for silver holders, that's a little worsening situation. Down 29 cents, and we're down below a crucial support level. We're at 25.41. Could we see $25 silver today? It's very possible. If not today, then tomorrow. Especially with the lack of US economic data. Bitcoin up $233 over the last 24 hours, though this morning it's actually started to fall again. And that's where we're at. No point continuing this longer than we should. Just to let you know, we produced 2 videos over the weekend, both essentially the same, our weekly update, our gold and silver update and forecast. Have a look, please, at the video we produced Friday. Are we nearing the end of physical currency? Don't ignore that subject, because that will, in time, and will reveal why, have a bearing on gold and silver prices. Because once we have a completely digital currency, and many will argue we already have that to a large extent anyway, but once we have those, if you think things are manipulated now, you wait when they're introduced. That's it for now. Have a great day, everyone. We've put links below. Please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos. And we produced a Nicki update, portfolio update, where she's losing nearly $2,000 now on her cryptocurrency endeavors. We produced that on the Crypto Plus website yesterday. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Disclaimer. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.